boys and girls. In my class this week, we are reading a lot of Franklin books. I because we are exploring Paulette Bourgeois and Brenda Clark's stories about Franklin. They're the ones that wrote the Franklin books. Today, we're going to read the book Franklin is Bossy. So look very carefully and you'll get to know the character of Franklin. And Franklin is not a regular boy, he is a turtle. Franklin is bossy. Unfortunately, somebody scribbled on my book a little bit, which makes me a little sad. Franklin the turtle could zip zippers and button buttons. He could count by twos and tie his shoes. He had lots of friends and one best friend named Bear. They played tag, marbles, hopscotch, and ball. But one day, something awful happened. Franklin and Bear had a fight. It was a steamy summer morning. Franklin told his friends, "Let's play marbles." And then they did. After a while, Franklin said, "I'm tired of marbles. Let's have a race." So when you have a race, usually, who is the winner? You are right, the person who gets to the end first. "Hey," Bear said, "you always pick the games. It's not so fair." But Franklin paid no attention to him. They all started to run. Bear was in the lead. See? In the lead means he was getting there to be first. He almost won. He was in the lead. Goose was right behind. Franklin saw that he was losing because he was getting to be last. He said, "Hey, this race is for the slowest one. The slowest one wins." And as he crawled to the finish line very slowly, and then he said, "I won." "That's not fair," said Bear. Franklin ignored him. "Oh, I'm tired of running. Let's play baseball." Bear did not put on his mitt. He did not put on his cap. He was mad. "It's too hot. I don't want to play baseball." "Me neither," said Beaver. "It's not too hot," said Franklin. "Is too," said Bear. "Is not," said Franklin. "I don't want to play with you, Franklin," said Bear. "And I don't want to play with you either," shouted Franklin back. Franklin stopped all the way home. "What's wrong?" asked his father. "There's no one to play with," answered Franklin. Was that true? No one to play with? Or maybe he wasn't playing fair. "Maybe your friends will come by later," said his father. In his room, Franklin built a castle. He made a cape to be brave in. He made shields, he made swords, and he made suits of armor. He drew pictures. He played house. He read stories. He played by himself for one whole hour. And then he didn't know what to do anymore. See, he built a lot, but he was all alone. All his friends stayed together. So Franklin went looking for company. His friends were in the river cooling off. "Are you still hot?" He asked. "No," they answered. "Then let's play ball." See, they're all swimming, and he missed it. Before anyone had a chance to say a word, Franklin started giving orders. Beat, you play first base. Goose and Beaver, you go to the outfield. I'll be the pitcher. No way, shouted Bear. I don't want to play with you. You are too bossy. All of Franklin's friends nodded. You're too bossy. Bear is right. Franklin turned back and he went home. There was no one to play with and nothing much to do, so he helped his father all afternoon in the garden. They weeded the garden, they washed the floors in the house, and they made supper for Mole because he was sick. You are a good friend, Mole said to Franklin's father when he went to visit. See, Franklin came with him to visit his friend Mole. You're a good friend, Mole told his father. On the way home, Franklin asked, do you and Mole have fights? Sometimes, said Franklin's father, but we always make up. Is it okay for friends to sometimes fight? I think so, as long as you need to apologize and you make up. Franklin played alone for another whole day. He missed Bear and he missed all his friends. And he had lots of time to think. He would go to Bear and apologize. Franklin and Bear met on the bridge. See, he was going to apologize on the bridge, and Bear was coming at the same time. Oh, I was going to go to your house, said Franklin. And I was going to your house, said Bear. I'm sorry, said Franklin. It was all my fault. No, it was my fault, said Bear. Mine, said Franklin. No, mine, said Bear. Suddenly, they got splashed. Stop, shouted Beaver, who was listening under the bridge, and splashed them. This is silly. Beaver slapped her tail and so hard that Franklin and Bear jumped, and they started to giggle. Friends? Asked Franklin. Friends, said Bear. Now they're friends. Beaver wanted to play baseball. Bear and Goose and Duck agreed. They were picking teams when Franklin insisting on being the pitcher again. Altogether, his friends shouted, Not fair! Not fair! They said it was his turn to play in the outfield. And it wasn't so bad for Franklin. Even though Franklin didn't catch any balls, he certainly got some flies. The end. So I would like to talk about this book a little bit. What is the title of the book? So the title of the book is the name of the book. The author writes the story. The illustrator draws the pretty pictures, pretty pictures, pretty pictures. So the title of the book is Franklin is Bossy, and the author is, it says two names, Paulette Bourgeois and Brenda Clark, which means they probably worked on that together. So if you could see, I wrote it right here. The title of the book is Franklin is Bossy. Author and illustrator, Paulette Bourgeois. and Brenda Clark. So what is the setting of the picture of the book? Setting means where did the story take place? The setting of this story was outside and also by the river and also by Franklin's house. Characters. Characters is who is the story about? Who? The children, the people, or the animals that were important. So think about it. Who are the people in the story? So we have Franklin the turtle. We have Franklin's dad, the bear, the goose, the beaver, and the mole. What was the problem in the story? So the problem in the story, the Franklin was too bossy, and his friends didn't want to play with him, mainly Bear. So a few things happened afterward. What were the episodes that happened? Franklin went home, and then he was bored to play alone, and then he went with his dad to visit Mole, and he realized at that time that sometimes friends fight, but then they make up. So what was the ending of this story? The ending of the story, the solution or the conclusion is that Franklin at the end learned not to be so bossy, and he learned to play fairly, give others a turn. So what is the lesson we learn from this story? That sometimes friends fight, but they can make up by asking forgiving and changing. I hope you can take out a piece of paper and write about a time that you had a fight with your friend and how you made up. Bye-bye. Thank you, and what you learned from it.